Alright, I will continue here. Okay. Abdullah B. Masood reported that Allah's messenger said, "But verily your creation, verily your creation is on this side, on this wise. The constituents of one of you are collected for 40 days in his mother's womb in the form of blood, sperm." A sperm? Doesn't he know where or not whether or not the blood is sperm or not? Oh, Ziad, this is sad. I feel sorry for you. Even the scholar is floundering. After which it becomes a clot of blood. What did he say? After which it becomes a clot of blood. What was that? After which it becomes a clot of blood. One more time. After which it becomes a clot of blood. Bingo! After which it becomes a clot of blood in another period of 40 days. How many days? After which it becomes a clot of blood in another period of 40 days. So it's not just Sunnah.com that I'm familiar with that has it this way. Even this Muslim site that he sent me to has it this way. After which it becomes a clot of blood in another period of 40 days. Right! Then it becomes a lump of flesh, and 40 days later Allah sends his angel to it. And this is translated wrong because evil Jews, right? Thus, according to Muhammad, quote, thus, according to Muhammad, the drop of sperm remains in the womb for 40 days. And it's blood. For 40 days, it's sperm? Are you kidding me? 40 days, it's sperm? Man. Well, let's continue here. And this is something he sent me to. I guess he didn't think I was going to read this. Then it becomes a clot for a further 40 days. What? It becomes a clot. And this isn't Sunnah.com. This is something he sent me to. I tell you, isn't he to lie and say it becomes like a clot? Wow. Don't tell me, Ziad. But I bet you're going to say this guy is not a Muslim, but is an evil Jew trying successfully to make Mo sound like a caveman even here, right? Then a lump of flesh for 40 days. Well, there you have it. Even he says 40 days. Man, it shouldn't even be a second. You know, it shouldn't even be a second. Wow. Then it goes on. It has been shown that human sperm can only survive inside a woman's reproductive tract for a maximum of 7 days. You think? So what does that tell you? If it's not blood, the embryo becomes, but is sperm. What does that tell you, O slave, the best of deceivers? What? Then it continues. At 80 days, the embryo has very definitive acquiring the shape of a human being that looks nothing like either a clot or a mouthful of flesh. Yeah. Don't tell me. The site you sent me to was accidental, and you sent it to me unaware it was a site created by evil Jews, right? I'll continue. At 11 weeks, fetus, real size 7.5 centimeters, but according to Muhammad, still at the alaka stage, a clot of blood. Exactly! The final stage of human development, which the Quran describes, is the creation of bones and the clothing of bones with flesh. However, according to modern embryologists, including Professor Moore, the tissue from which the bone originates, known as mesoderm, is the same tissue as that from which muscle flesh develops. So, in other words, Mr. Moore is not in agreement with the Quran after all. Is not in agreement with the Quran after all. And you, talking to Ziad, and you feel this helps the Quran not sound like it was written by a caveman. Well, I'll continue. Thus, bones and muscles begin to develop simultaneously rather than sequentially. So does this tell? So what does this tell you about the Quran? It is written by a caveman, or are you going to say that this article is written by evil Jews? What am I to believe here? Continue. He sent me to the site where they're quoting from the hadith that I know. No, that's on Sunnah.com, but this is no mention of Sunnah.com, so I take it does say 40 days. That Muhammad believed an embryo was blood for 40 days, and then in another 40 days it was a blood clot, and then another 40 days it was a lump of flesh, and then Allah brought the spirit to tell whether you're going to be going to heaven or hell. Well, I'll continue. Whereas, however, most of the muscle tissue that we have is laid down before birth, bones continue to develop and calcify, strengthening with calcium right into one's teenage years. Exactly. Thus, the Quran is a bunch of caveman BS about bones forming first. Notice that he'd rather talk about this than the fact that embryos are blood clots. I guess I can see why. Well, it continues. So far from bones being clothed with flesh, it would be more accurate if the Quran had said that muscles started to develop at the same time as bones, but completed their development earlier. Exactly. The idea that bones are clothed with flesh is not only scientifically completely false, but is completely copied from the ancient Greek Dr. Galen, as we shall see shortly. Well, this is something. Now you're going to say that what follows attacks this, true? I'll check that out. And I do. Oh, I see. There is a Muslim response. This I've got to see. Okay, now I'm going to read the Muslim response. Let us repeat what the missionary himself says. To establish a definition for alaq, we might take a look at the Kamus al-Mahit, one of the most important Arabic dictionaries ever compiled by Muhammad ibn Yaqub al-Firazabadi, AD 1415. He says that alaka has the same meaning as a clot of blood. Will the sir call it the clot? I would say so. This is the clearest example of intellectual dishonesty on his part. Then why is the sir called the clot, even in this century? I see, how much time do I have left? I do have. I have time. Yeah, this is the the Kamus al-Mahit does not just say that alaka means a clot of blood and leave it at that. Well, Surah 96 does. The full definition follows. 1. Blood in its normal state of blood, which is extremely red or which has hardened or congealed. Answer 96 and Muslim Book 33 have it this way. How come? I thought all his words couldn't be corrupted. 2. A piece thereof. 3. Everything that sticks. 4. Clay that sticks to hands. 5. Unchanging enmity of love. 6. Zu'alak is the name of a hill of Banu Asad, where they defeated Rabi'ah ibn Malik. 7. An insect of water that sucks blood. 8. That portion of a tree that is within the reach of animals. Yet Surah 96 and Muslim Book 33 have it as a blood clot. And in Muslim, it's for 40 days. How come? And even he took me to the site that had it for 40 days also. I thought all his words couldn't be corrupted. As should be clear from the above that there are numerous meanings of the word, all meaning something different. Yet Surah 96 and Muslim Book 33 have it as a blood clot, and in Muslim for 40 days. How come? I thought all his words couldn't be corrupted. But they are all derived from the sense of attachment or clinging. A piece thereof, Hill or Banu Asad. How does that mean they're clinging? For example, love is alaka because it clings to the heart, and a leech is alaka because it clings to the skin of the human whose blood it sucks, and clay is alaka because it clings to the hands. If this is so, are you saying that after 40 days the baby no longer clings to the uterine wall, because it's after 40 days, then it goes from a blood clot to a lump of flesh, so it's no longer clinging to the uterine wall after 40 days? Faithful translation of the word in English would be, quote, anything that clings or sticks that is clinging thing, because this would allow the meanings of the word to be preserved. Again, are you saying that after 40 days the baby no longer clings to the uterine wall? Moise Amjad writes the following in his article, quote, what was man created from? The word alak does not mean blood. If so, then Surah 96 and Muslim Book 33 are wrong, for they have it as a blood clot, and in Muslim it's for 40 days. How come? I thought all his words couldn't be corrupted. Let's see, how much time do I have left? 2 more minutes, okay. But because of certain properties of blood, it was, besides other things, also used to imply blood. So it was, and it wasn't. Ooh, that's deep. Not really. The real meaning of the word, as would be obvious from analysis of all the meanings stated above, is anything that sticks to or hangs with something else. After, but later, if so, then after 40 days, the baby is unattached. You know, it's blood for 40 days. Then it's a blood clot for 40 days. And but they don't say it's not blood, it's a leech. And then after 40 days, it becomes a chewed food, so it's no longer attached like a leech to the wall. Huh. Okay. So the baby then becomes unattached and no longer a leech. The word was used for blood because of the well-known property of blood being sticky as soon as it starts to dry out. How does it dry in the womb to become a clot of blood? The word was used for mud because its obvious property of sticking to the hands. Looks like, in order to try to divert from Surah 96 and Muslim Book 33, that it is as a blood clot, and in Muslim for 40 days. In Sahih Muslim, it's 40 days. This Muslim has run into a sticky situation, if you ask me. The word was used for unending hatred or love. Snow of words here, if you ask me, because such emotions stick to one's heart. Okay, I'll quit it here.